Hey guys, I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible for you. So anything or any questions that you have, make sure that you have ready for me next week. Basically, I'm going to go through the task sheet, the template, and what I want you to do for the rest of the lesson. Okay, so your assignment has three components. Part A, which is your individual design. We'll be focusing on that all next week, which is why I want you to start brainstorming today, so that next week your focus is looking at your own design, okay, which you can choose from a list of ones that you and your group have looked at, or possibly something that you've seen or found over the weekend, okay. Your draft is due at the end of next week, okay, so end of week 4, meaning I'll get it back to you before I go on leave, okay. Part B is you guys choosing a prac, so coming together in small groups and choosing someone's prac to do. Okay, you might find that you choose someone's prac, but there's minor changes that you want to make, so you've got time to make adjustments to the materials or the method, and that's what will be your Part C write-up, based on whichever one you choose to complete. Okay, we're aiming at completing your prac in week 6, possibly doing some prep in week 5, depending on what your design is, and then your final due around the end of week 8. This may change based on your teacher. Okay, so this is just a general guide. It might slightly change. Part A, though, is pretty set in stone. Once you get your feedback or your draft back from me, the final will be uploaded with your Part C. Okay, so whenever that's due is when your final for your Part A is due as well. And there's allocated time for you to spend on draft feedback on Part A. So this is your task sheet. Starts with your performance standards. All I want you to know right now is IAE1 is your design. Okay, so when I mark your design, or when your teacher marks your design, it will be IAE1. Your Part C, the completion, has all of these other components that are graded against it. AI, okay, you can use AI in your planning. Okay, you're coming up with designs. Okay, so it's important that you can go beyond the scope of the content. Okay, so you can be creative. You don't have to design a prac that is practical for us to use specifically at CVU in a school setting. Okay, you might look at how smoking food affects bacterial growth. We don't have a smoker, and that's fine. Okay, but this is where you can go beyond, and it allows you to actually meet this performance standards of critically designs or conducts an investigation. Okay, so if you go beyond just the real basic designs, if everyone in the class does that and we don't have the materials to do a prac, I'll give you a completion prac to do. Okay, so it's not an issue. This is a breakdown of Part A, B, and C. Okay, so Part A, the design, I'll go through the template with you in a second. Part B, coming up with the prac that you're going to actually do. And then a normal write-up of a prac, so introduction, materials, method, results, discussion, conclusion, etc. Okay, so this is the base, so the background that you need to know. So during food production and food processing, the use and prevention of microorganisms is critical. The understanding of microbial requirements is required for optimal growth or prevention. Okay, so they require optimal nutrients, temperature, pH, moisture levels, oxygen, time. We've spoken about this. Right, it's important to take into account that some food production methods require microbes, but they're harmless. Okay, so a few examples there. But we're looking at the pathogenic microorganisms. Okay, so the ones that, when present in food, produce toxins that can cause illness or death. Okay, so therefore, food processing is trying to minimize contamination of your ingredients and equipment and aims to reduce those optimal conditions, so the FATM acronym for microbial growth. Right, so these are some of the techniques. So cooking food, reheating food, use of preservatives, it can be natural or synthetic, pickling, smoking, pasteurizing, freezing, dehydration, removing oxygen, etc., etc. Okay, so basically your design wants to address one of these techniques. You're going to see how effective it's working. We are going to do a formative next week. Okay, the reason that we're doing this, we're going to test the difference between cooking mince and having raw mince and actually swabbing it, putting it on our agar plate and having or gathering results. So That's our Monday or Tuesday lesson, and our Thursday lesson, we are going to learn how to use this tool here to get a quantitative measure, a percentage of bacterial colonization on the growth of your plate. Okay, so you're going to have qualitative and quantitative data in this prac because your qualitative data will be your identification of different bacterial species or fungi, yeast. Okay. So that's just a practice so that when you get to yours and you're actually doing it, because this will be how everyone gathers their results, you know how to do it. You know how that then turns into a graph. Okay. I'm going to go straight to the template. All right. So part A, design, because that's what the focus will be. Okay. So this is what the template looks like. It's got a summary of what's needed up here, but that's all within the template for you. Okay, so maximum 3 A4 pages, minimum font size 10. Okay, if you go over 3 pages, I won't draft it. So keep to the 3 pages, keep to size 10. Don't send me a PDF with a font that's clearly smaller than size 10. All right, do the right thing. 3 pages is plenty. It's just a design, not a deconstruction too. You can change the format of this template. You can change it to landscape. The only thing I'd recommend is keeping the tables below because they'll help you meet the performance standards, but also help condense your work to meet those 3-page requirement. Okay, so you'll have a very brief introduction, 100 words. So if you're talking about pasteurization, you'll talk about that technique and why that's effective. Aim, hypothesis, independent variable, dependent variable. Factors held constant, you need to have one that's unable to be held constant. I'll help you with this if we're struggling. But your factor could be maybe you're testing the effect of cheese at different temperatures. Okay, fridge, freezer, room temperature. Your factor held constant could be that they're all cut into 2 by 2 squares. Okay, so same size cube of cheese would be a factor. Method for holding it constant would be you explaining that each cube will be cut using a knife 2 by 2. All right. The effect on results, if not held constant, is talking about, okay, if they were all different sizes, how is that going to impact what we're measuring? So your dependent variable. Okay, so is it going to increase the types of bacteria or have an impact on the colonization of bacteria percentage? And how would that affect your results? Is it going to affect precision, reliability, or accuracy? Okay, justification for all of your materials. Okay, so your agar medium, why do we use that? Okay, you might use a reference to back up why that's an effective method to actually test for bacterial presence on something or on food. Okay, same for your method. Okay, so step by step, you'll write your own method, you'll justify why you're doing each thing. A blank results table, you're not telling me the expected pattern of results, you're just giving me a table with a detailed title that could collect your results, okay? Because remember, you might not do your prac, you might do someone else's in the class. Just make sure you've thought about your sample size and how you can reduce the effect of random errors. So make sure you've got multiple trials, how you're going to collect your qualitative and your quantitative data. Ethical and safety considerations and proportions, I'll show you an example next week. And then references is on a separate page, so don't worry about references being on your 3 pages, okay? So, your goal for today, I'm going to go back here. Your focus is looking at these techniques in a group, coming up with, you're going to get some A3 paper, coming up with some design ideas around, okay, what could we do? But you need to identify the aim, independent, dependent, and controlled variables for that idea. Okay, you should have at least 3 or 4. All right, and I'm going to go through some examples for you, just so that you kind of know where to start and where you can go. You can use some of these, but remember, over the weekend, when you have access to AI, can you go beyond the scope of the course? Can you be more creative? So, reheating food. You could look at how reheating a high-risk food, so chicken or rice, to different temperatures, how that would affect bacterial growth. Okay, so you could reheat batch 1 to 60 degrees, batch 2 to 70 degrees, batch 3 to 90 degrees. Okay, so you might have to come up with a way to heat that and be able to record the temperature. Okay, so are they using a probe? We have different, like our Pasco temperature thing that we can use, or you could use like a Bunsen burner, a hot plate. Okay, so you've got to think about how you're going to do this. You could look at cooling methods, so how defrosting something in the fridge, microwave, or on the bench affects bacterial growth. Preservatives, you could look at salting lemons, so how increasing the amount of salt, is that going to decrease the bacterial growth? You can also look at synthetic preservatives, so we add like sulfur to dried fruit a lot, so apricots, apples, so you could look at that. Remember, this is your design. We don't have to be able to replicate it at school. Pickling, so looking at different vinegar solutions, so percentages, changing the pH, and seeing if that affects bacterial growth. Pasteurization, you could either compare the bacterial count of pasteurized versus unpasteurized milk in different conditions, or you could possibly look at unpasteurized milk and bringing it to the pasteurization temperature of 72 degrees, but for different amounts of time. Okay, so one of them would take it to that 15 seconds, which is required. One might be under, so only taking it to 72 degrees for 10 seconds, and one might be over, and then you might be able to see if there's a difference. You could look at dehydrated fruit. Okay, so the duration of time that fruit is dehydrated for. Okay, longer would mean less moisture, which we know should reduce bacterial growth because bacteria like moist environments. Canning or jars, you could look at sterilized versus unsterilized. So there's so many different ideas and examples you can look at. Okay, so please be creative. Relief Teacher is going to collect those sheets with your names on it and put it in my pigeonhole so I can look at it before Tuesday. All right, so if you have any questions, though, message me. Otherwise, I will see you on Tuesday. All right, thank you.